Okay, so we're just gonna go live on YouTube. Honestly, it could be it could be live now while it's setting up. I don't actually know, so just
Yep,
as a
got her.
just as a heads up.
Give
Yeah,
me
it
a
is.
whip, comb my hair. Both hairs.
Yeah, it's definitely live. Cool. So I'm gonna copy that, go into my Facebook page, and hopefully everybody sees this. Facebook Live is terrible. Please join our YouTube Live here. Post. There we go. All right, so I've got that. If you want to share that, it's on my Facebook page, and I'll share it on my personal too. Post. Cool. And we're 4 minutes early, so hopefully everybody will hop on. It'll be great. Okay, I think we got like one person watching us right now, so we might be a little bit early. But for that one and two watching, great. When you guys get on and hop into the live feed, can you do me a favor? You can see over on the right-hand side, I think it's on the right-hand side if you're on a computer. I'm not sure where it's at if you're on your mobile device, but type something into the chat on YouTube. We'll be able to see it, answer your questions as we're going here. We're up to 3 now, which is great. So if you guys could just say something, if you got, just let us know you're here, and we'll get started here in 3 minutes, and be able to start talking about these recent updates to the governor's orders. It'll be great, hopefully. Ogden, are you sitting out on your back patio?
No, I wish I was. So I am in my office, the only place I can get to it all.
Yeah. I need a haircut, Og.
Yeah, so do I, badly.
I can't. You need a haircut? I can't really tell.
I do. I'm trying to find this post to repost for you, but I'm not finding it.
It's on my personal page and my political page. All right. Hey, good morning, Kelly. Kelly Millard, the clerk of the city of Upton, best town on earth.
Kelly,
thanks for joining us. Super appreciate it. And we're gonna have for any of those folks that watch, I suspect because we're so early this morning and doing this, I suspect we're going to be moving into the situation of a lot of folks. Hopefully a lot of folks will watch us afterwards, because it really is, it really does deserve kind of a breakdown. And I think there's some misconceptions out there about this. You find it, Og?
I did. It's my computer's slow.
Oh yeah.
Not a fast day today. There it is.
Well, this is so much easier to do when we can go right to Facebook Live. I mean, that's where that's where most folks are at. That's our best opportunity to actually reach people. It's just Facebook sucks. I mean, this was working yesterday morning.
Yes.
Yeah, it was working yesterday morning fine. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, I apologize for this not being on Facebook. We would much prefer to be live streaming on Facebook, but the reality is Facebook sucks.
Well, let's do 2 at a time. We can do it individually, but we can't do it together.
Right. Facebook does not want Og and Tyler together, which is kind of a bummer. But it is what it is. So we're up to 6 now. We're at 1 minute out. I'm going to give it another minute, guys, just to let some more folks hop in. So if anybody has any questions to start things out, definitely throw them in there. But there is some good news that we're going to be talking about. It's not all bad news. In fact, it's mostly good news.
It's mostly good news. That's
right. Right. And I think we might as well go ahead and kick her off now, Og. So what we're getting on here to talk about is the governor's recent executive orders. There was a lot of people that watched that the update from the governor in regards to what he's doing with with these executive orders and what the closure looks like in Wyoming. And I had a lot of people get a hold of me. They're like, I didn't understand what the hell he just said. What happened? And I understand that because I watched it too. And,
pretty hard to follow. The last two press conferences,
yeah,
a lot of talk and doesn't do much bullet pointed out that you can actually tell what's happening.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I know that there's a lot of us out there that are anxious for things to happen. I'm one of them. And so like the night before, I texted the governor in kind of a rage, like, what is going on? What is happening with our Wyoming? Why is this falling apart? And he sent me this text message back, and I read it to Ogden. It was phenomenal. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense. This is great. This is wonderful. Say this tomorrow, exactly this. And I think in his caution, right, it's just being cautious. I think he's losing his ability to translate that message. So we wanted to help translate the damn message. Isn't that right, Og?
Absolutely. You know, they're trying to do the right thing. They're working hard at it. They're erring on the side of safety. I'm sure Tyler's the same. We're getting dozens of calls a day. Everybody's ready to move. We don't have a lot happening. And they really are trying to make an effort to get it open, or at least we think we are. We're going to talk today about some of what's happening. We're trying to get best practices in place and some kind of standard plans. So those of you folks or business people can get out there and get your businesses open. We can come with a standard plan, and it may be something you don't like doing particularly because the protocols are pretty onerous. There's no doubt about it, but it kind of what it takes to get into business if we're going to get back up and going these first steps.
Right. And so like right off the bat with the governor's orders, you know, I mean, obviously it's not a blank reopen the economy. Unfortunately, I think we're pretty much all there. That's what we want to see. It's not that, but it's pretty good. And so what did he do? He opened up the obvious ones: hair salons, nail salons, barbershops, massage therapy, tattoo parlors. Og, you can get that unicorn you've been wanting tattooed on your shoulder. That'll be cool. Body art, piercing shops. We can get nose rings. Cosmetology, electrology. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that right. And aesthetic services. So those are like, I mean, those ones are easy to see, and everybody, I think everybody gets those, right? So those are opening tomorrow on Friday. Boom. They still got some guidelines to follow, right? I mean,
yeah, they got to wear masks, do all the standard stuff. Also, right. the state park campgrounds will be opening this week. They're coming. They're going to let Wyoming residents camp. Basically, what's that?
Correct me on that, Og. I thought that wasn't until like the 8th or something like that.
That's what I said, next week.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so, or close to it. It's fairly quickly coming. Gotcha. Really, what's left out right now in broad categories is bars and restaurants.
Right. Right.
And we're working on that. Tyler and I both diligently been doing our best to try to get a set of protocols in place that you need to be able to be up and operating.
Did I just cough on a live feed?
You did.
They're coming for me. Also included in this is gyms. You can go back into gyms. I think it's important to note also, Og, that there's been a lot of folks saying, well, I can't go to church. Well, so that's not actually true. The churches have never been shut down in an executive order. The gathering number has been restricted. So that makes it tough to go to church. So my suggestion for any and all churches is put in for an exemption. And that's it. That's something that's been able to do.
And that's for anything. That's not just churches. If you're doing anything that's right there, you can apply for exemption. Mm-hmm. Tyler and I have both worked with our county health officer. The governor's kind of kicked it down to the county level now.
Right.
And he is good. He's really been very decent to deal with.
Well, and so that's actually part of the biggest part of the exciting news. And we're actually we've got a little higher view count now. So I'm really excited everybody's on here. This is the exciting news. This is the part that I think was not drilled down on deep enough in the governor's press release. So I want to specifically cover this thing. Here's the deal: you own a restaurant or a bar or something like that, you're gonna want to write this down. Ogden, you got to turn off your phone. That's just live feed abuse right there. You're never going to be a Twitch gamer now. So bars and restaurants, you can put in specifically with your county health officer for an exemption to open your doors and start seating customers again. Now, granted, you've got some guidelines that you got to follow, and you got to follow basically three things, right? You've got to prove to the county health officer how you can maintain cleanliness and what you're going to do to restrict the spread of COVID. Right. You got to prove the spacing aspect, how you're going to do the 6 foot spacing within your restaurant or bar or something like that. And then you've also got to screen your patrons. So that's like the only one that I kind of see as a little bit of a barrier that it's going to be, some people aren't going to be comfortable with asking people, hey, have you had a respiratory illness in the last, in the last month or something? I get it. But I think that's the biggest, the biggest
screening he's talking about is a digital thermometer. You got to scan,
right?
Check your temperature, and apparently that's one of the main indicators of whether you have it or not and don't show symptoms.
Right. So that's the really big news, and you can do that. You can do that starting May 1st, which is Friday. So what I'm asking you guys to do is, if you're a bar or restaurant owner, or someone that is a bar or restaurant owner, you need to immediately contact your county health and start looking at what that paperwork looks like. It's going to be, you just got to put it in writing and send that, and the county health officer's got to look at your plan and say, okay, this will restrict coronavirus or the spread of this disease. You're good to go. And then what's going to happen is they got to send that on to the state health officer. And the state health officer, from what I understand, as long as the county health officer is happy with it and it's not some kind of weird deal, they're going to be good with it. And all of this sucks. Now,
so Tyler and I will get this first one for you, and we'll post it on our Facebook pages.
That's right.
Of what it takes, so that you can see what hoops they've had to go through. We'll cross the name out of it, but we'll show you what they had to go through to get this approved.
Right.
Because it's not a small deal. Plastic utensils, there's numbers of things. The other thing the governor made clear to me yesterday is, for the restaurants, if you've got tables outside now that the weather's good, if you've got 6 foot spacing or more, they can go outside your business and eat right now.
Right. Yeah, and they also did relax the whole deal as far as not allowing them inside the business to do pickup. So even if you're just happy doing the pickup as it stands right now, and you don't want to go back to seating people, at least they can come inside your establishment now. And so it's a relaxation of a lot of the relaxed orders that were already in place. Now, granted, I think all of us agree that we're tired of this. I think 100%. Everybody's up to their eyeballs.
And if this goes right, you probably can expect a lessening of these rules. That's the other part that's going to come, is they'll continue to get looser if we're not having problems.
Right. Another really good aspect, and so Kelly Millar brought this up. So Kelly says, and remember, this is the clerk in Upton. Kelly says they're working on a plan with their bars and restaurants for a county-wide exemption through a committee and our county health officer. So what that's about is a county can put in for an entire variance, where the county health officer, working with their county commissioners and the cities within that county, can put together this plan for a county-wide variance to the statewide executive orders. And that's Governor Gordon, in recognition of the fact that Crook County and Weston County damn sure don't look like Teton or Laramie County. And so that's a really big opportunity, and I really hope that our counties take advantage of that, because we don't have the cases, and I doubt anything that we develop in Hewlett or Upton or Osage or Moorcroft or Pine Haven even remotely looks like what Walmart looks like right now.
Or Menards. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. You go to town, either South Dakota or Gillette, they're humming. The people are out there and they're
Yeah.
moving. It's just the rural areas have taken it pretty seriously, and they've been locked down. And it's time. Tyler and I have been just daily on the governor trying to get this moving, and he's finally breaking loose on this eastern part of the state in particular.
Right. I do want to specifically talk about that in part, though. What is the governor thinking in regards to this order? I think it's important to note that as it stands tomorrow, the state of Wyoming will be farther ahead than any state in the nation in regards to relaxing these orders. As of farther than South Dakota. I mean, we've all heard Kristi Noem speak. She's been doing a great job for her state. Wonderful, but they're going to be behind. They're going to be behind
Idaho, Montana, all our neighbors are behind us.
Yep, and that's because Wyoming residents, we didn't require that shelter in place. I think a lot of you guys remember our Kurt Downsett said there's no cafe in Osage. I thought there was a bar / cafe. Boy, I hope that didn't shut down. I thought that. Okay, I might be wrong. But either way, this puts us far and ahead of any other state in the union come tomorrow. And that's because we've actually done a good job. Wyoming residents have done a good job. And, you know, I mean, the models keep getting destroyed by by the actions of Wyoming. It's proving that we can actually contain this without these mandatory shutter down orders.
Yeah, Wyoming's done a phenomenal job. It's kind of stopped. They were talked about flattening out the curve. Well, we flattened it out. It's there. We've got basically 3 hot spots in Wyoming, down in Cheyenne, Fremont County, specifically the reservation, and our favorite place in Jackson that did it. Which Jackson had an airport and they kept their ski areas open, and so they ended up with very similar things to some other states did. If you had transportation, you imported people with it. So right. For all of you, everybody did the right thing through the tough time, and assuming we continue doing good practices, hopefully we don't have cases, because the other warning we have is if people ignore the protocols or we get new cases, we'll go backwards on this without a doubt.
Right. And I think, I mean, the reality is that this whole situation is as it gets warmer outside, people are spending more time outside. I think it's nothing but good news for Wyoming from here on out until the winter comes around, and we're gonna have to figure out hopefully that's a cured situation. Kurt Townsend actually just brought up that that bar / cafe in Osage got it closed down. I'm not sure how long ago. That's a bummer. That was good. That was a good little stop.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Osage today, Og.
Oh, doing a little electric work.
Yeah, gonna go do a little bit of electric work this afternoon. It'll be good. Hopefully. Does anybody have any questions about these executive orders? I know that's kind of an information dump, and most of you guys have probably already figured it out. It's just we felt like we needed to talk to folks, or at least do something like this to kind of clear it up. And I know Ogden did the same thing as I did yesterday, which was calling as many of these restaurants as possible. And I'm going to be calling all the rest of them today to make sure that they understood. And that was kind of met. Most people were pretty pumped, like, okay, we're going to get this exemption put together. I did get my ass chewed a couple of times that this is ridiculous. Why would, why are we continuing to do this? I don't disagree. Listen, I'd rather be just kicking open the doors. I think we can handle this ourselves without any kind of restrictions or putting in for these exemptions. However, that's not the reality that we're living in. So Senator Driskill and I both want to help.
Kind of baby steps to get us open, and it'll come pretty fast. I think if we're not having problems, you'll find that a lot of the things will relax pretty quickly. It's all case driven. Right. And the really sad news is, because of these hot spots, Wyoming is still on an upward climb on the rate of what we're doing. So if there's problems, it's going to be tough. So we need to make sure that we kind of do the right thing.
Yeah, you still got to one of the important aspects is if you're some yahoo from Colorado that comes into Wyoming to hang out or whatever, you still got to quarantine for 14 days. and stay the hell away from everybody, because we know we know Colorado's got the coronavirus. But also on that note, if you're going to go shopping over, to pick up groceries in South Dakota or feed or something like that, you don't have to quarantine for 14 days. That's an essential aspect. Okay, so we actually got a question, and this is from the Carey family. Food freedom is near and dear to you. What is the plan for the bottleneck that is coming with the protein market? Is there any protection coming for producers and consumers? That is such a good question and so timely. What a rodeo we're living in. This is something that's near and dear to Senator Driskill and myself, where we've put in a considerable amount of work, ensuring that Wyoming is the best positioned state in the nation for this scenario, and we're still not anywhere near prepared. And that
not even close. We've really shown the vulnerabilities of our food system when you've got plants that have 5%. My son went yesterday to Belle Fourche, picked up 4 fat pigs on the extreme discount at Belle Fourche Livestock. If any of you want to buy cheap pigs, they're bringing them by the loads into Belle Fourche Livestock out of Iowa and other areas, just to get rid of them, because they're going to have to kill them and bury them. They're hard to get processors. We threw some in a pen. I haven't talked to Tyler yet. I spent a couple hours on the phone with Undersecretary of Ag yesterday morning, talking about packing plant issues and cattle issues, because really the USDA is doing a knee jerk on this thing. They're preparing to pay inspectors to help euthanize cattle and bury them. It's really sad. They ought to be giving those fat cattle that they can kill them if they'd relax their standards. They could be going out to people that need it. We still got the same number of needy people out there, and it's just tragic to be in a country when you got people that are hungry and you're literally paying someone to bury beef that's doing it. We really need to be proactive. Tyler and I have both been on the cutting edge of the food freedom. This year's bill kind of broke the first barrier down. In my opinion, one of the real links we're missing now is the little boutique sized plants we've got can't handle the big number of capacity, but we're too big on these plants that are 5%. There's a sweet spot in there of somewhere between 100 and 500 head a day plants. That for national security, I pointed out yesterday, in a time of war, our food security is really in danger. If someone went in and took out a half dozen of these packing plants, we basically can't feed our own people right now, or at least good protein.
Yeah, and I think on that point, Ogden, I mean, the real issue here, I mean, unequivocally, hands down, and I'm going to throw some stones right now because they need to be thrown, because I know Ogden and myself have had these conversations with these people. This is the federal government's fault, through and through.
Without a doubt.
If we want this fixed today, then I would expect Representative Cheney, Senator Barrasso, and Senator Enzi to be in Washington and to be writing a bill to repeal the Federal Meat Inspection Act and to turn it over to the states. That is by far, hands down, the easiest solution. If we want local processed food to be sold locally without jumping through these hoops, I mean, that is the solution.
These mega large processors have, through lobbying, have put in rules that make it prohibitive for backyard farmers to survive. And the loophole was so small when Tyler wrote the first bill that they almost ignored it. Now it's got enough momentum that they're paying attention now. And so each ratchet up of these bills takes a little tougher run, because the big boys have got big lobbyists and they take it seriously.
I think I might be the only sitting legislator in the state of Wyoming that has received a cease and desist from the USDA. And that happened in 2016. That was my first run at putting meat into the Food Freedom Act for direct sales locally. And honestly, we baby stepped that first piece, and the Department of Ag was even with us. They thought, boy, this shouldn't make the USDA angry. Boy, did it. And how. So it is a huge scenario, or a huge situation. And I think, honestly, there's a couple possible solutions. What Og was talking about. I think another solution is for us as a state to just be done with it, to throw down the gauntlet and and write a law that is in direct violation of federal law.
I'm all in for that, Tyler. And you'll probably see one of those from Tyler and I, without a doubt. If we can do pot in Colorado, and we can ignore it, that's one of the things that Tyler and I've said all along is, if we're not going to follow federal laws, let's go back to Article 10 and let's go back to taking our own powers back.
That's right.
And that's for real.
Yeah. And that honestly, where we should have been down this road in 1967 when they passed the Wholesome Meat Act and amended the Federal Meat Inspection Act. We should have rejected it then. But as with all well-intended bills, you don't think that it could grow into this monster where it could cripple an entire economy. So now here we are in this situation. The only possible solution that we've got at this point is to throw down the gauntlet on the federal government and say, you guys are incompetent. We don't want anything to do with you. When it comes down to our local food, we've got this. Back off. And hopefully our federal I suspect our federal delegation will have our back and support those efforts.
I sure hope so. That's, we're at a time, we spent the morning talking about COVID restrictions, but the other shoe that's going to fall on the state of Wyoming is the ag's truly in a crisis right now. If these prices hold through fall, we're going to see an unbelievable ag crisis. This is something that I don't think anybody that's my age and younger has ever seen. It's really got the potential to be not bad prices, but totally unsustainable prices.
Right.
And that's going to be coupled with a bad state budget we've got coming in. Tyler and I will keep having these meetings because running right alongside COVID is a major state deficit coming up on the biennium we just passed. We really didn't talk about going into this, but the best case scenario they're presenting is about 400 million deficit from where we're at. Of course, we don't know. Back to all our good businesses have been shut down. We don't have sales tax revenue, our investment income stuff. And we all know that oil and gas makes ag look pretty friendly right now where it's at. So these are three legs of the stool got totally cut off in Wyoming, and tourism may or may not survive the summer. So that's our fourth leg. It's a perfect storm for Wyoming this year. And everybody needs to keep their eye on that because there is going to be changes in our state government coming up. By fall, there'll be changes.
I think our only big solution to this scenario is honestly, it's it's an elephant, right? So like they say, if you're going to eat an elephant, you got to do it a bite at a time. So when it comes to our budgetary issues, a bite at a time. And when it comes down to our economic development aspirations, I honestly think we got to start taking bigger bites. We've done everything so nice. Animal shares right now, I've got folks from all over the country calling me saying, how do we do this in our state? I talked with the Senate Majority Leader staff yesterday out of Missouri. They're going to try to do this. And I'm going to talk crap about my own bill, right? Animal shares is stupid. It's stupid that we've got to go through this process of essentially turning a herd of cattle into a corporate entity. It's so stupid that we've got to do that in order to sell our product locally. But honestly, in 6 years of digging in on the Federal Meat Inspection Act and trying to find the holes, that's the best hole I can find.
Yeah, that's finding a narrow crack that was unbelievable that got through. And without a doubt, Tyler's correct. That is the only crack there was out there. And it is sad that you can't take a rancher and you can't come buy a box of beef from me off of beef that's butchered.
A box of beef. You can't buy a T-bone. I can butcher 1,000 goddamn chickens on my back patio and sell them directly to consumers, but I can't sell one T-bone steak out of my freezer to a friend or anyone. That's illegal. Unless I go through I jump through the hoops and I get licensed and labeled and all of these things, something that I don't have to do for chicken or for tuna or for or rabbits. I don't have to do those things. Now, granted, I'm not advocating that we do those things for rabbits and chickens those
just the opposite.
Yeah, those entities are living the dream. That's where cattle producers should be. That's where sheep producers should be. That's where pork producers should be. is in that scenario. And so for me, and Kelly brought it up. The best argument that can be made is in regards to 10th Amendment rights and your line. If they can do pot in Colorado, we ought to be able to do a beef burrito in Wyoming.
We just need to stand up to it, and it takes something to do it, but it really should be happening.
Right. Yeah. So that's a really good question. Really appreciate it. Whoever from the Carey family brought that up. That is something that is very near and dear to all of us, is this food freedom momentum, and we've really gone down a lot of good steps with that for opening up the market in the state of Wyoming. However, we have so much farther to go, and that has been my big caution to everybody, is that food freedom's great, but we're not done yet, and we have to keep marching down the line. And that's something that I pledge to you guys, and I know Ogden's with me on this, is we're going to keep working on this. I mean, hell, nobody saw animal shares coming. That was kind of
actually the Basic Food Freedom Act, nobody really got it coming. It'd been tried. I believe Tyler's was the sixth attempt on it, either the fifth or sixth. So some of these are try again. Part of them are looking for loopholes to find through. And as Tyler says, we're ready to drive a truck through now. We got to convince the rest of the Senate and House that this is the way to do it, and we need to stand up and move, and now's the time.
Right. And I'm with you, Og. I think ultimately at the end of the day, we're just going to have to violate federal law at this point and say, we're going to court. I mean, that's it. And that's a bummer deal, because we don't want to waste taxpayer funds in a frivolous lawsuit but I don't think this is necessarily frivolous. We're going to end up having to challenge this in this regard. And so Kelly just asked, how best can we support you guys? And I'm guessing in regards to this endeavor. For me, Kelly, keep letting me be this wild old, kind of Republican / libertarian that does these wild kind of bills where I've managed to find these weird holes.
Same here. Tyler and I are both pretty non-traditional politicians, without a doubt, even in the state of Wyoming. And we're both very appreciative of the support we've got out of our communities. And it really does matter. You folks make the difference. And you'll find that like I said, we're pretty non-traditional. We don't fit in the party box very well, either one of us. So, but we also get stuff done. That's right. Probably more significant bills passed with Northeast Wyoming's delegation than any other delegation in the state.
Yeah, we've had some really, really good luck, and we've been able to do some big things. So keep us around. Keep us around, and we'll keep doing wild stuff. And Kelly did bring up, Chandra Pollitt's on, and she said, or smell the beef burning down Copperhead Road. And then Kelly said, as long as it's not chickens in town, she'll support us in that regard.
Well, we did lose that battle. We've done the chickens in town route. We didn't win that one either.
I had nothing to do with that bill.
Right.
It's a good bill. And so for those of you that don't know, there was a bill called the Chicken Freedom Act, and that banned municipalities from banning chickens. And that's my own little rubber stamp on local control, and something that Kelly deals with often is both Ogden and I.
Home rule went kind of berserk on that one.
Yeah. We lost. We lost though. They got that match. So anyways, just kind of round things out. Local food is good. Go eat in your restaurant as soon as they're open. Hopefully a bunch of them will be opening up shortly. I know of several that are working on it immediately, such as the Buffalo Jump, the Ponderosa up in Hewlett. I've got some more folks to call, and so they're putting together plans. So hopefully you'll be able to
call us. We'll help you work through it. County health officer also, now that they've got some plans in place, you're going to have a template you can follow. And like I said, we'll try to get a hold of that once the state's approved it,
right,
and we'll get it up on both of our Facebook pages. And you don't have to follow it. You can actually try to modify it if you want. Yep. It's just if you want a slam dunk approve one, you can probably follow what the template is. But you also, these are individual, unless a county applies, which I'd like to see them do in both Crook and Weston. unless county applies their individual to your business. So
Right.
when you sign on the line, you're saying you're going to follow these protocols,
Mhm.
and you can modify them. And if our county health officer will sign off, you're probably going to be okay.
Right. Right. And if anybody knows so I know Crook County's meeting this Monday, and I do plan on attending that and advocating for a countywide variance. I don't know when Weston County meets next. So Kelly, I know you're on here, hopefully, or Kurt, hopefully you guys are still on here. If you could put in the chat when Weston County Commission's meeting next, because I would surely like to advocate for a countywide variance. However, I think Kelly already said that they're already working on something, so they might already be, they might already have that in work. And thanks for joining us, Kurt. Really appreciate it, sir. We kind of on Tuesday, perfect. So we can make both and kind of give lend our support. I mean, we're not county commissioners or anything like that, and nor do we want to try to force our thoughts that down their road. But we do want to help advocate for a variance to help these small restaurants and stuff. So I guess as always, guys, if you guys need help, if you need a hand, I might not be able to get the answers. Og might not be able to get the answers, but by God, we're going to try, and we'll advocate for you. And so if you want to get a hold of us, please do. Our numbers are listed on our websites and the newspapers. Those are our personal phone numbers. We don't have staff, so.
And my staff's Tyler.
Right.
So.
Right.
Thank you very much. And for any of you that have tweaks that you want done, this is a time that really highlights holes in our laws. And if you see things that you think need change, this is an idealistic time. We're going to be resizing the state government, and we're going to be changing the way our agencies run. So it's really an opportune time for not only individuals, but cities, towns, and counties to get rules in that make it easier for them to do business. The state's not always the easiest place to do business.
Right.
And we're trying to streamline that. Tyler and I will work our rear ends off. Mm-hmm. If you can find good fixes, we'll bring them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we've had the opportunity to work with several individuals that are watching right now. They know that the process works, that we can get stuff done for you. So please do that. Also, I'm wearing my butler hat today. Support your local little smaller agricultural type of outfits. The Butler Brothers, they sell show lambs, and so I've got my kids have got a pile of show lambs all over my backyard right now. It's miserable.
We also got Austin trying to get a meat plant open in Hewlett, Tyler.
Yeah, no, Austin's working hard on
that.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, before we get off, and I'm sorry, guys, I gotta talk about this. So I had a great conversation with a Weston County resident the other day, and we're trying to think of ideas of what we can do to help supplant this food supply issue. And I think you're gonna love this, Og. I think so. Have you seen those mobile meat packing little plants?
I have. I've got plans on them, and I know the costs on them.
So what if we did one of those at every community college in the state of Wyoming? So that'd be a total of 7. We do one of those and just make them so their primary purpose is for lease for producers. And those little meat packing bad boys, those can roll into any ranch and you can do slaughter on site.
Yeah, they can do up to about 7 head a day in those. They're pretty handy. Wyoming tested them maybe a decade ago. Right.
So why not? We can't afford a $40 to $100 million, packing plant. Why not bring the packing plant to pasture? And those are USDA certified. Now, granted, you'd have to have an inspector on site, but maybe we just do state inspected. And anyways, that might be a possibility to get that local meat aspect a lot more in people's face. I don't know. Throw around ideas, guys. we got to think of something. So, yeah.
Well, they're all economic development. That's for all of you that got ideas. Wyoming, we hear over and over, and I know Tyler hits it. what are you going to do to diversify our economy? And really, it's not the government that diversifies it. It's great ideas from entrepreneurs,
That's right.
and we help knock down barriers for those folks that have the good ideas.
That's right.
But so for any of you that have good ideas, we will do everything in our power to bend the rules, change the rules to make it better to operate. Because Wyoming's tried to throw the money at the save the business deal, and it really hasn't brought us much for business. We haven't got a lot for our dollars.
No. You know, and there's steps that we can do. And I think our biggest successes that we've seen in the last several years come about in the form of deregulation or modifying regulation to better fit a modern technology. I mean, listen, guys, it sounds crazier than hell. I get it, but nobody besides Northeast Wyoming has modified statutes and regulations in a deregulatory manner more than Northeast Wyoming.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Our bills have changed more, and that's more than any other state in the nation.
Right.
Not just Wyoming, that's any other state.
And not just on agriculture. I mean, we've touched on tech pretty heavily. I've
a little
learned
bit of medical, the
Yeah.
blockchain end.
Yeah. So it's been good. But anyways, if you guys have ideas about that, or you want to put me or Og on the road to hunt something, you know, of a bad federal law that's preventing you from doing something,
we'll get on it.
Yeah, hit us up, because by God, we've got a mind for finding holes in federal law. Turns out most federal laws are written poorly. That's because most of the time they do bad work. So just turn it back to the states, baby. That's all I'm saying. I'm just a tenther through and through.
We're ready.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey,
thanks everybody very much, and give us some feedback if you guys want us to keep doing this, because Tyler and I have been talking. We'll probably keep running these, being we can't do town halls. We will continue, and let us know what times are best. We can do them in the evening if we need to. So
yep,
let us know.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to try one of these early in the morning, but we'll keep doing them. I will eventually figure out how to get on Facebook Live where the both of us can be on there. My next Facebook Live is probably going to be by myself, just so I can talk crap about Ogden without him knowing about it. So, hey, Shelly Triggs on. Thanks for joining us, ma'am. But anyways, really appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Put some comments down below, either on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We'll catch you on the next one. Put some comments down below. Ogden, you can't watch the stream while you're on it. Damn it, Ogden. Anyways, really appreciate you guys, and thank you very much for joining us. And